Hi, so we have started doing this orb workshop. I think it was last year, correct,
Yes.
Teresa?
Yeah.
Found it was very popular. It's a beautiful arrangement. Teresa's going to show you how to green it up. I just want to mention one thing, and that we might mention later as well, and that is that you can either hang this or you can stand it on your table. But we'll go through some of that again a little bit later. You ready to go, Teresa?
I am good to go. So I'm going to take this off so you can hear me. All right, so the orb today, we are doing a centerpiece down in the middle here with a battery operated candle. So batteries are in the bottom, easy to maneuver it around. Floral foam, it's a wet foam. So what you will be doing at home is it will be cut to your size. All you have to do is take a bowl of water, set it in there. Just let the weight take the floral foam down, and it'll absorb all that moisture into there. If you push it in, what will happen is your floral foam will be wet on the outside but dry on the inside, and then your greens won't drink up any of that moisture. So very important, just drop it in the water and it'll be naturally go down. So you press it in the middle here. It just kind of sits there. There's a nice lip. Then I set my candle in. So my candle is sitting on top of the foam. I'm going to create a nest of greens that's going to go around that candle. You're not going to have too much greens coming up. This will be the front side. So you're not going to have a lot of greens coming up to hide the candle. So it'll be a little bit lower and flowing out a little bit out of side of the orb. Now the tray that I have it in, I just have that because I need to have something for it not to roll away on. So starting with the fir. Fir is one of the ones I really like to use first because it's nice and firm and it gives a really great base for your arrangement to start. White pine we're going to be using today, and the red cedar we'll be using. Nice flowy. Use both sides if you choose to on the fir and on the cedar. So the fir today, I'm just going to start to cut. This is a branch. When we do our cutting, we use as much as we can. There's hardly any waste that's left. So I might go like this and take this stem, but now I look at it, go, that's going to be really too big. I only want it to flow out maybe about 2 inches, maybe about that much. So I'm lining it up, seeing where I can take that cut, but still be able to use that secondary piece. On your fir, it's really important, take a bit of those needles off the bottom. What happens is those needles make a really big hole. The greens will get loose and then they'll fall out. Decide where you want it and press it in. Try not to take it out, push it back in, move it around. Reason for that is you're going to break down that foam really quick and your foam's just going to start to crumble. If you do have to take it out because it is too long, try to press it back into the same hole, just making sure that it reattaches to that foam, that it's not just floating. I am going to go around the bottom of the base, so I'm kind of getting my size of the greens going around. And just kind of going for not very tight together on your greens, because you must remember you are adding 3 different kinds of greens to it. And you don't have to have it really jam full, because once you go to decorate, that will also need space in your foam. So now what you're going to do is you're going to come a little higher up. So this is the back side. I'll turn it in a moment. You're going to come up in and around that candle at about a 45-degree angle. All right. Just bringing that up like that. And like I said, you have a fair amount of room in between. That's where you're going to add your next ones to. So you're seeing the shape that it is starting to form. So you can see that you have a nice even flow all the way around. And then we'll switch over to the pine, or the cedar, I should say. I go from fir to cedar, and then my pine is always last. So at this point, this is where I'm now gonna go into my cedar. So you're gonna just follow in between on with your cedar, in between your fir. And so you're kind of following that same thing, but you don't want to hide the candle, so make sure the pieces aren't too big. And you're just going to work that all the way around your arrangement. And you can see how it's getting nice and full. I still see a little bit of foam, which is okay. You don't have to have the foam totally covered. You do want to make sure that you have room for your decor. So just adding it around, having a little bit up. Because it's an electric candle, you don't have to worry about the greens touching fire. And that's the adding of the cedar. All right, so now we're going to switch over to the pine. And following the same steps, you're going to follow the little bit down below. With pine, you don't want to add as much as you do as the fir or the cedar. This is just an accent in there. You do want to make sure you cut these a little shorter than what you think you want, because you don't want them sticking out too far. It just doesn't look very nice with the long needles. It looks very separated from your arrangement. So making sure that you cut them just a little bit shorter, and you can see how nice you see it, but it's really showy. On pine, it's really interesting how you cut it. If you cut it like this, you're gonna have like a really bad haircut. You know, I'll show you on this one here, for instance. If you want to make this into two pieces, don't just go like this and cut, because then you have a really sharp cut there. What you want to do is you pull these needles away a little bit, and you're just cutting the stem of the pine, because now that's one that I cut. So you can see how once you stick it in there, you're not going to see that cut end. So these are two pieces that I just cut from one, and you can use both of them. So that's how we make sure we use as much as we can out of our greens that we're using, the max amount. And any of the stems that are left, when it comes to decorating, we use those for wiring pine cones or berries or anything like that, so nothing goes to waste. I'll get one more piece in there, and you're working around, just adding a few pieces in, not very many. There we go. So now we have all of our greens in. When you take these home, Erna will be doing the decorating on them, and she might explain it to you as well. Take it home. To keep your greens as fresh as possible, you can apply a mist to it, just a water mist. Have a spray bottle handy. Keeping it fresh, maybe every 3 days, give it a little bit of a spray. Your floral foam, if you would like, you can take your candle out, take your arrangement to your sink, and just pour a little bit of water on here, just so it draws into the foam. Let it dry where it is. Once it's dry, there's no water leaking, because you don't want to damage where you're putting it. You can take it back, place it into a bowl if you want it sitting on a table, or hang it back up. Set your candle back in, and you are all ready. And your greens will last 6 to 8 weeks.
Hi, so you saw Teresa put the greens into this this holiday orb that we had made. And I'm going to show you how to decorate it. So I normally start with the berries, and I'm just going to show you how well these stems of berries come apart. There's many sections to them, and they're designed that you can just pull them off and use them in bits, because often it is too bulky to use a whole stem. Well, in this case, it would be much too bulky. But anyway, they just pull off, and if you are having trouble pulling them off, use your wire cutter. That will work. I've already cut most of my berries, so I'm just going to show you how I think when I put something together. Although you must trust your own eye. Most of us really know what we like. So you just go ahead and put them where you think they should go. Don't second guess it too much, because when you're finished, it will be beautiful, and it will be something you've created yourself. I'm going to make this one fairly symmetrical, so I'm choosing a few spots kind of in thirds and going around for the bottom layer. I am, however, we have a long piece coming out here, so this is going to be an extra piece of berry coming through here to follow the stems of greens that are there. And we'll do one more through here, a little bit lower down. And I've placed them all at slightly different heights so that it looks a little more natural. In the wild, you would not have anything that was growing very symmetrically, so we try to do the same. So a couple of these stems of berries that I actually cut in half because I wanted smaller pieces. So now I have to, because I don't have the longer stem that it came on, I had to add a pick. And I want to nestle a couple of them around the candle, mostly because I think that the red sparkly is so beautiful against the candle. Also keep the candle a little more solid. The candles come with a timer on them. So if you set them the first day at, say, 5 o'clock, and you want them to run for 6 hours after that, they'll come on every day at 5 o'clock. So I have my berries in for now. I may add another stem if I choose to, because I have a few pieces left. I'm going to add some leaves to this, some artificial leaves with a little bit of sparkle to them. So I want to lighten it up, and I want to pull it back to the candle. I want to pull the color back to the candle a little bit. So I'm going to add this particular one. You remember I have this long stem of berries here. I'm going to add this leaf to this area because it kind of grounds it if you have the berries and the leaf together. They're very moldable, so you can just move them around as you like. So I'm not going to step back and look at this. We'll just see what we get in the end, but you should. You should put a few things in, step back, decide where you're going to place the next one, the next item, and keep going that way. I did wire 2 leaves together, a smaller one and a larger one. I put it onto a longer pick, but I do believe I'll have to cut a little bit of that off. It's a bit too long. But I wanted one that stretched out and gave me sort of a double look. And I know my orb is sliding around a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to place this one. I know I have one here, but I'm still going to place another one right here so that we have something coming through there. And I'll add one more through here, and then we'll finish up with a few more leaves if we need them. I'm using a bit of a larger pine cone today, and I chose it because it has a lot of sparkle on it, and that is what will come with this kit if this is the one that you order. I don't want them all to be symmetrically placed. It's a bit of an obvious look, so I'm going to do these 2. I'm going to use 3 because I think it is a larger one. I think they need to be, 3 is enough for that. All right. And I've decided to add a bow to this one. Again, because I want to tie it back to the lighter leaf. And I pre-tied this bow, but you can take a look at our tutorial online about bow tying. And if you like, we can tie one for you. But I'm going to add this one in here. I'm going to ground it next to the berries and the pine cone and make this a bit of a focal point. And I am going to bring the tails under and through so that it isn't quite as obvious. It's just part of your arrangement. So sometimes I add some more berries to the top, but I don't think in this case it really needs it. I think we have enough going on in here. So I would say that we are done. So if you choose to, of course, you can add your whole stem of berries, and it'll just give you a bigger, brighter look. Thank you.